Shout out to Or Rebsy. He's making money from Fortnite. Look, I don't really play games and I don't really recommend it because you're wasting time, but if you're making money from playing Fortnite, then why not? Why not? Welcome to MMO Gang. And if you're making money online in any sort of way, then just send me a DM on Instagram or Snapchat or Twitter and I'll get back to you and be shouted out in the next video. Hey, it's Poku Banks, baby. Today we're going to talk about the 5 books that helped to develop my winning mindset. Now, these books I'm going to show you guys has made me very, very knowledgeable and helped to develop my winning mindset. I'm only 19, but my brain is 32. Trust me. When I started reading books, it was pretty much the best thing to even happen to me. Not only did it develop my mindset and put me ahead of other people that weren't reading books, it opened me up to things I didn't even know existed. Just like the famous entrepreneur Jim Rohn said, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. These self-help books that I bought went over things that school didn't even go over in the slightest. It helped develop my mindset and made me think differently to other people in my class. And I've said this once, I'll say it again. Just because school finishes doesn't mean education finishes. You're always a student to this game called life. When I do eventually graduate from university, I will not stop educating myself. I'll keep learning. Why? Because knowledge is power. There's always stuff you can learn and you can never know it all. I'm not a know-it-all, I'll be real. Some things I don't know and I'm learning as I go along on this journey, which you guys can see on YouTube. Now let me show you some quotes on books from famous people. Oprah Winfrey. Books allow me to see a world beyond the front porch of my grandmother's shotgun house and the power to see possibilities beyond what was allowed at the time. Excellent quote. Books as well was showing me things that I didn't even know was possible. Elon Musk. He was asked how he learned how to build rockets. He simply replied, I read books. Again, a lot of people ask me how I do certain things or how I know certain things. Again, I just educate myself. You know, how do I learn how to trade forex? I read. How do I learn how to get into property? I read. It's just a simple process. I educate myself. I wasn't born special. I wasn't born with this knowledge. I wasn't taught this knowledge. I just go out and seek it. Bill Gates. Reading is still the main way that I both learn new things and test my understanding. Look, if one of the richest guys in the world is telling you that he still reads, then you should be too. Who are you? Now, before I get into my top 5 books that you should get into, I want to give you an honorable mention. And this is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Oh my days. If you have not read this book, read it. You are wasting your time. Like, what are you doing? And now this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I didn't include it in my top 5 books, but it does deserve an honorable mention. I'll be real. Now, this book introduces you to financial literacy, building your personal finance, building your wealth, asset versus liabilities, the basic stuff. It's essentially a story based on his childhood, where he had a rich dad and poor dad. His poor dad was his real dad that worked a job and he ended up poor later on in life. His rich dad was his friend's dad, Mikey. So Mikey had a dad who was an entrepreneur and then that acted as his rich dad. His rich dad taught him a lot of lessons about personal finance and entrepreneurship and how to build wealth, whereas his poor dad wanted him to go to school, get a normal 9-to-5 job and then end up miserable. Now, I'll be real, this book isn't the best entrepreneur book or the best personal finance book you find out there, but what this book does do, is switch on that switch in your brain. I read this book when I was around 17, so year 12, and the day I read this book, my life changed forever. The way I thought about money changed, the way I saw things changed. Like, this book, it switched me on. Now, I'll tell you straight away right now, this isn't the book that'll tell you exactly how to get rich. There is no step-by-step guide. He doesn't go into exact detail on how to actually get rich. And I'll be real, at some points it's pretty vague, but the purpose of this book is just to let you guys know, oh, you can make money that way. Oh, you can do that. Oh, so I shouldn't buy liabilities. Oh, so I should get more assets. Okay. This is what this book is about. It's to let you know, oh, okay, so this is how the rich people get money. This is how they're doing this. This is how they're doing that. This is why school's bad. So again, if you don't know anything about entrepreneurship or personal finance, this book. It's an easy read. When I normally read books, I read like 30 pages and go and I get bored and then leave it for the next day. With this book, you know, I read like half of it in one day. That's how easy it was to read. Like, I was intrigued. I really wanted to read it. Like, when I say this book switched me on financially, bro. And some of the concepts that I preach are based on this book. So if you read this book and then go back to my TikTok videos or my other YouTube videos, you'll notice where I got my inspiration from. By the way, all of the books will be linked down below to Amazon. Okay, so the first book I want to recommend to you guys, by the way, this is no order. Like, it's not like top 1 to 5 or 5 to 1. It's just 5 books I recommend. Think and Grow Rich. Oh my days, this book. Okay, so Napoleon Hill, he believes that he's found the 13 steps to riches and he includes it all in this book. Napoleon Hill then goes on to share the secret on how the wealthiest people in America built their wealth. He spent nearly 20 years of his life interviewing wealthy people. And these are some big names that you'll know. So Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Theodore Roosevelt, John D. Rockefeller, and plenty more. Now, if someone's been monitoring the rich for so long in their life, don't you think they'll know how the rich act and behave? Because he's noticed similar attributes in each rich person he's come across in his lifetime. This book was written in 1937, so during the Great Depression. So the fact that it's lasted all this time, all the way up until 2020, shows how strong the messages are in this book and how it applies to today. And to be honest, any money-making book they get in the future will derive from the concepts taught in this book. Even Rich Dad Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki mentions this book in Rich Dad Poor Dad. This just shows how much respect this book has. Now, as you can see from the title, Think and Grow Rich, this goes more into depth on the mindset and the psychological thinking behind making money. So it goes more into your mindset on how you need to think about money to make more money. So this book focuses heavily on mindset, so law of attraction or thinking positively about things, and which is why I think positively about things. I will be real, there is a little bit of waffle within the book. So the first few chapters of this book is excellent, top notch. But then when you get later on into the book, and you'll realize this if you do read this, there's a little bit of waffle. And furthermore, Napoleon Hill goes on to make some very, very questionable claims about the fact that he thinks that human brains are connected by vibrating thoughts, which I find a little bit weird, you know? That's pseudoscience, really. I don't know if I can really take that in or not. And now the first rule I want to teach you about reading books is that you do not need to agree with everything in the book to think it's a good book. How I see books is that you read the book and you take what you need from the book. Some people may refer to it as digging for gold. So you're digging through the book, you've seen all the basic information, and eventually you find the right chapter that has all the nuggets that you need, and then you take it from the book. Now let me tell you my two favorite quotes from the book. The world doesn't pay someone who knows, but pays the one who does something great with what he knows. Essentially applied knowledge. You know, knowledge is all good and that. You know, reading books is all good, but if you don't do anything with the knowledge, then you won't get anywhere. Trust me. And this leads me on to my second rule of reading books. Don't fall into overconsumption. Because some people will read a lot of books and feel like they've done something, but in reality, they haven't actually done much with the knowledge that they learned from the books. All they've done is stored it in their head and not made any action. The second quote I like from the book is, the starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak results. Just a small fire makes a small amount of heat. You know, I believe that the people that really want to attain riches in life are the ones that desire it the most, the people that want it the most. And I also agree with him. You know, if you really desire to become wealthy when you're older, you will make it somehow, whether you like it or not. A lot of people are like, I don't mind if I'm wealthy. You know, if it happens, it happens. For me, I will be wealthy. It's not if. It's not if I'm wealthy. I will be wealthy. That's how much I desire to be wealthy. You know, it all starts with a strong desire. Okay, now the second book I would like to go on to is now The Millionaire Next Door. The Millionaire Next Door. Now this book surprised me the most out of all of the books. This book, you know, it taught me so many things about millionaires I didn't even know. And, you know, this book was more of like not a waking up call, but it just made me realize, wow, what the media shows us or portrays millionaires to be isn't really how they really are in real life. That all millionaires come from inheritance. Did you know that 80% of millionaires are first generation millionaires? This means they made it within their lifetime. As in, their parents were normal people and then they became millionaires themselves, so self-made millionaires. Now when you think of millionaires, you think of mansions, Lamborghinis, expensive holidays and whatnot. Yes, some millionaires do live like that, so the rappers, the entertainers, the footballers, all the people within the entertainment industry. But that is only a small percentage of the millionaires around in the world. Most millionaires may even live next door to you, but you don't even know they're a millionaire. Why? Because they live below their means, they live a frugal lifestyle. They're not flashy with the cars, they don't have too much jewelry on, they act like normal people. This book will actually tell you it's pretty easy to become a millionaire, believe it or not. You know, anyone can become a millionaire with a steady paying job, literally. Now, similar to the previous book, Think and Grow Rich, this book is heavily backed with statistics and surveys. And one of the writers of the book had a chance to meet over 500 millionaires face to face and interview them all separately, to find out what job they do, to find out how they made the money, to find out how they spend the money, to find out how they invest the money, and how much they save the money. One little negative that I would like to say for this book is that it's based in USA, as in it's millionaires in the USA. I live in the UK. One key point from this book is being very, very frugal. So this means you're not wasting money on stupid shit. You plan financially ahead and you spend your money wisely. This means you spend your money on needs, not wants. It also helps to go into the distinction between wealthy individuals and rich individuals. They're two different types of individuals, trust me. Have you ever wondered how people will make 300, 200k a year, yet they still claim they're broke? A lot of rappers and sportsmen have high incomes, yet they still manage to become broke 3 years after they leave the league, which makes no sense personally. This is all down to how they live their life, you know. This book talks a lot about living below your means. One analogy that they made in this book made me rethink about the way I spend money forever. Some people think that when you're a millionaire, you can spend however you want. You don't need to budget anymore. Most millionaires are stingy with their money even when they become rich. A lot of people ask millionaires, why are you so stingy with money even though you have so much money? You're rich. You can afford to spend your money on whatever you want and it won't make a difference to your bank account. Compare this to someone that goes to the gym. You enter the gym and you work consistently for years straight to get the perfect body you want. in order to have the right body, you need to eat the right foods and have the right diet in order to maintain your body and build the right type of muscle. Once they do eventually get their perfect body, you don't see them eating cakes, you don't see them eating fat foods. Why? Because they want to maintain their body. They don't want to get to the top and then start eating bad just to fall off again. And this is the exact same millionaires. The reason they are millionaires is because of their budgeting skills and living below their means. What's the point of saving all that money just to get to a million and then spend it all off? What's the point? And also, this book goes into a lot about net worth and how much your net worth should be. So are you an under accumulator of wealth, or are you a prestigious accumulator of wealth, or are you an average accumulator of wealth? Now the formula that they use is age divided by 10 times by income. Okay, now let's use a 30-year-old, for example, that earns £25,000 per year. 30 divided by 10, which is 3, times by your £25,000, which is £75,000. A 30-year-old that earns £25,000 per year should have a net worth of £75,000 per year. That's the average. A prestigious accumulator of wealth would have £150,000 as a net worth. And the final thing that really shocked me about this book is that most millionaires, their parents did not actually provide any outdated economic care. Studies show, specifically from this book, that the more spoiled and the more money you give to your children, the more they depend on you later on in life, so you'll be able to handle yourself less. If you don't believe me, read this book, it goes through everything. I recommend it highly. Quotes from Millionaire Store that I really liked, and this relates to the first one. Their parents do not provide economic outpatient care. The more dollars adult children receive, the fewer dollars they can accumulate. Those forced to provide for themselves tend to be wealthier than those who are given financial aid. And this relates to my previous point, and I found it pretty scary thinking that people that tend to get more money from their parents actually make less. Another point that I like to say is that their adult children are economically self-sufficient, so that means they can care for themselves. Helping the financially weak generally makes them weaker. And the final one, which is about frugality. Many people who live in expensive homes and drive luxury cars do not actually have much wealth, which is true. All of that is debt. Okay, so now the third book that I would like to recommend to you is the Millionaire Fastlane. This book is very opinionated, as in he has a certain ideology and he thinks a certain way. The author talks in a very condescending tone to people that work 9 to 5 and, people on the slow lane, as he likes to say it. Now, this book is actually the direct opposite of the Millionaire Next Door. Now, this book, this is quite a lot of other books. So, the law of attraction, it doesn't like the law of attraction. It thinks that's bullshit. It hates the Millionaire Next Door. It thinks that's a slow way of getting rich. If you've read Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Work Week, this book shits on it all the time. It mentions it so many times and it hates it. The Richest Man in Babylon. This book also throws shots at that book as well. It's crazy. Now, the title of the book is a little bit clickbait. Obviously, it's called the Millionaire Fastlane, but when they say Fastlane, they're talking more of 5 years, get rich in 5 years, not, in 1 year. Now, one thing I like about this book is that it's actually written by an author that is rich themselves, and he even goes into detail to explain how he got rich. Essentially, how he got rich is that he started a company and sold customer leads to limo drivers. So essentially, he found customers that wanted to drive limos, and then he sold those leads to limo drivers who needed the customers. And he made millions of that. I think he went on to go sell his company for around 4 million. I'm not sure. I'll correct up here. So the author is a millionaire and he has a lot of experience. So take his words in wisely. Now, if you don't want to read the book, let me just tell you his main philosophy. Build something of value, then build a business, and then liquidate. Now, let me tell you something. If you're interested in investing in an index fund over 40 years, £200 every month to make £1 million over a lifetime, you might as well not read this book. He shits on you guys so much. He hates it. Now, in the book, he mentions that pentamillionaires came from a lump sum of money, not from investing in a 401k or an index fund over many years. So most people with a net worth of 5 million more did not become rich from investing monthly in the index fund or whatnot. They got rich from a big lump of sum. So that means from acquisition or liquidating their company. Now, one thing I learned from this book is how much you get to sell your business for. Now, this is a direct quote from the book. You can now sell your business for many times the money that it's bringing in. So, for example, a computer-based business has a high multiplier, which is 8.19. If your business is now bringing in £100,000 per year, your computer-based business, you can sell it for £819,000. Grocery stores have a multiplier value of 11.34. So if your business is making £100,000 in a year, you can sell it for 1.1 million. Now, one thing I would like to say about the book is that it's a little bit repetitive, especially in the first half. But the good thing is that the summaries at the end of every chapter. So you can skip over the main bit and read the summaries if you want to. But let me just tell you something. If you're going to read this book, make sure you come with an open mind. This book challenges so many concepts that you thought were right, and it just makes you feel like shit, I can't lie. Now you're probably thinking, Poku, why didn't you just show us the book physically? Now, one thing that I've started doing recently is that I started listening to audiobooks. Audiobooks are the same as books, but essentially instead of reading it, you're just listening to it in your headphones or in a car or on the speaker or whatever. Now, when I listen to audiobooks, I do it normally when I'm driving long distances. So that means driving time becomes learning time. So I'm learning stuff while I'm driving, learning a lot of gems. But what you need to remember is audiobooks are the same as music. So, if you listen to a song once, you won't remember any of the song. You might remember the chorus, but that's it. You need to keep listening to it multiple times to make sure it sticks in your brain, or take notes while you're listening to it. And what you need to remember is that some people are different learners. Some people learn a lot by reading, some people learn a lot by watching videos, and some people learn a lot by actually doing stuff, and some people learn a lot by actually listening. It depends which type of learner you are, but definitely try audiobooks. You can get a lot of books done in a quicker time, because right now I don't really have the time to sit down and read books. I'm focusing on this YouTube channel. So if you're interested in reading audiobooks and you haven't got enough money to buy some books, then I've got 2 free books that you can get if you click the link down below in my description. You get 2 free audiobooks when you sign up to the free trial, and then it's £7.99 a month thereafter. Audiobooks have saved me so much time. While I'm doing something, I'm also listening and learning a lot of information. I recommend that you try it too. They're very useful. 2 free audiobooks, link down below. Now the 4th book that I would like to recommend to you guys is called The Secret. Now this book is all about the law of attraction. So positive thinking will result in positive things. If you think something into existence, you can do so. And this whole YouTube channel is all about law of attraction essentially. If you watch my first video, I will have 100,000 subscribers in 1 year. This is essentially law of attraction right there before your eyes. I'm manifesting 100,000 subscribers, so I'm working hard to get to that stage in 1 year. So that's next year, July on the 9th. Now have you ever sat down and thought about something and then it actually happens in real life? That is the law of attraction. There'll be so many times in life that I'll be thinking of something and then it just comes right before me. My whole TikTok success, getting 108k followers, I manifested that into real life. When I was younger, I always used to imagine myself, advising people to do whatnot with their personal finances. And now I'm doing it. I used to think about this when I was younger, and now I'm actually doing it. I manifested it. So I definitely believe in the law of attraction, but one thing I would like to discredit this book is that essentially, what you need to remember is, don't forget, you need to put in the work. You can't just, think and then hope for it to come. You actually need to go in and put in the work. Yes, I did think about me being successful and giving people financial advice, but I actually went out there and did it. I didn't just wait for it to happen to me. I went out there, got it, and it came to me. Because yes, you can think your way into success in some circumstances, but I feel like there's a limit. You actually need to go out there and do the work. But other than that, the book doesn't even feel like an audiobook. It feels like a therapy session. Literally, like someone's just talking to you and explaining to you how to think positively. And it really does change the way you think, trust me. But I'll be real, sometimes I feel like it goes over the top. There's one funny quote. There's one funny quote in the book, and it made me laugh. So this quote is directly from the book, okay? Food cannot cause you to put on weight unless you think it can. Food cannot cause you to put on weight unless you think it can. So like, this is what I'm saying, man. Sometimes don't take all books for Bible. Not everything they say is correct. Clearly not. I'm recommending you 5 books today, but I'm giving you the disadvantages of them. I'm not saying they're all perfect, but they'll give you and help you develop the winning mindset that I have. But other than that, let me give you some good quotes that came from the book. Your life is in your hands. No matter where you are now, no matter what has happened in your life, you can begin to consciously choose your thoughts and you can change your life. That quote is just simply facts. You can change your life if you think you can and go out there to do it. Trust me. And secondly, this is a good one. There's always something to be grateful for. Again, I want 100k subscribers, but don't forget that I've got 180k TikTok followers. I'm grateful for those followers, and now I want something else. So don't forget that there's always someone else that wants to switch places with you. Yes, I want to be the guy that has 100k subscribers, but then there's always someone else that wants to be the guy that has 180k followers. Now, the 5th and final book that I'm going to recommend to you guys is Atomic Habits. This book, if you've read The Power of Habit, it's essentially built off of that, and it has a lot more practical steps in it that you can follow. Now, this book is very, very practical and is required to be successful. Now guys, don't forget, your mental is where it all starts. In order to make money, you can't just read money making books. You need to read other books to develop the fundamentals. Your habits, the way you think. All this stuff needs to be patterned before you even go and make money. Because if the fundamentals aren't there, then making money will be hard. And this is exactly why I'm recommending books like Atomic Habits and The Secret. Because you need to pattern your mental and you need to pattern the way you think. But yeah, with Atomic Habits, there's plenty of life examples that you can use to break your bad habits and to develop some good ones. Now the 3 things that I took from this book is number 1, the compound effect. Small changes over time will have a big impact in years to come. If you are 1% better every day, you'll be 37 times better in a year. The second thing is simply that you need to monitor and measure your progress. Whatever you monitor or measure tends to do a lot more better than the things that you don't. For example, my TikTok followers, I was monitoring and measuring how many TikTok followers I got every day. And in return, this made me think about how I can get even more followers. And now the third thing I learned from this is a habit building technique. This is getting good habits into routines, having positive reinforcements around you. For example, if you want to read more, make sure you read every time before you go to bed. So make sure you place a book on your bedside table, so every time you get into bed, you see a book and you start reading, and then you fall off and doze to sleep. Now, I'll be real, I recommend the physical version if you want to buy this book, not the audio book. Reason being is that this book is very, very practical. It has a lot of steps and a lot of strategies that you should pick a few of. Obviously, when you listen to audiobook and hearing all these strategies, you won't remember all of them. It's like music again, If you listen to a song once, you may remember the chorus if you're lucky. If not, then you have to listen to it multiple times to actually remember it. Again, with the audiobooks, you might have to take notes or listen to it plenty of times. Also, when I listen to audiobooks, I listen to it at 1.5 speed. As it's faster, your brain's registering it a lot more, and it might help with brain retention. Furthermore, you're getting through it 50% faster, so if it's a 1 hour audiobook, you'll get through it in 45 minutes. But anyways, I appreciate all to get into this point in the video. These 5 books definitely helped to develop my mindset and make me think the way I am. Now, if you got to this point in the video, I appreciate it a lot, it helps me a lot. Now, obviously, you don't need to read all of the books, so I want you to comment which book that you want to read based on my description of the book. And if you've read any of the books that I've mentioned, go ahead and leave a little review down below so others can find your review and then use that to make their own judgment on which book they're going to buy. Man, I hope you like that, man. It's Poku Banks, baby.